want to talk about Sharon's greatest gift to me. Well, first place, her greatest gift to me was herself. But I want to talk about the next greatest gift. But I'll give you a little background first. I've had two careers in my life. One was in engineering and two was in real estate. I started the engineering work right out of high school when I was probably 19 years old. And I can tell you about both of these careers. I hated them. It's not that I hated engineering. It's not that I hated real estate. It's I hated working. Every morning I got up, took a shower. I'd drive myself crazy with how much I didn't want to go to work. I hated working. And also, I hated responsibility. I didn't want responsibility. Nothing. I can remember I did engineering work one place, and they made me the chief engineer. They didn't ask me. They made me the chief engineer. They printed up the cards and everything and made the announcements. And when they handed me the cards and said, "You're now chief engineer," I said, "I don't want it." This drove them crazy. I could see the explosion look on their face. "What do you mean you don't want to be chief engineer?" "I don't want to be chief engineer. I want a 9 to 5 job, and when 5 o'clock comes, I want my time to be my time, and weekends I don't want to be bothered with work. I want it for my time to do what I want." Because I always knew that I was a creative person, but I didn't have much of an outlet for it. So anyways, I had the two careers. First one was engineering. The second one was real estate. And then in 1980, the real estate market went bust. So I was a big deal before that time in real estate. And then come 1980, I couldn't make any money. I think 1980, my highest commissions was $5,000 for the whole year. So I decided to do temp work, office temp work, something to keep busy and make some money. But Sharon had a very good job. And she said to me, "Why don't you quit working?" She says, "I can't stand you doing this temp work. Why don't you quit?" So you know what? I decided to quit working. And then after about a year of not working, the family saw, this guy isn't working. He's mooching off his wife. So you know what? That drove my father crazy. That drove the whole family crazy. They didn't understand. And I sat that whole year trying to figure out what to do to myself. Do with myself, rather. And after a while, I did creative work, but I never made any money at creative work. I didn't have the manual dexterity. For instance, the manual dexterity to be a painter, the manual dexterity to be a performing musician. I didn't have these skills. All I had was head skills. Nothing in these hands that were extraordinary. That my hands were very common. So, fortunately, I did find myself. I found my creative outlets. And it was through the internet, not necessarily YouTube, but through the internet. And I found how to make money without working much and calling my time my own. So that was a blessing. But the greatest gift Sharon gave to me when she said, "Why don't you quit working?" And I thank her very much for that. Thank you, babe. And that was the right thing for me. Because as I said, right from the beginning, I hated one, work, two, responsibility. I didn't want to have anything to do with either one. So that's Sharon's greatest gift to me. The picture of Sharon at the beginning of this video is one I took right after we got married. We drove down from Detroit to Miami so Sharon could be with her family at Christmas. And on the way back to Detroit, we stopped in the Georgia woods and had our picnic lunch because we didn't have money to go to a restaurant, so we'd buy some lunch meat and bread and go out in the side of the road and have our lunch. Anyways, this is a picture I took of her in the Georgia woods right off the side of the highway.